what makes men decide they want to get married?
For me, so when I was, however old I was, when they asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? A lot of kids said astronauts and doctors, etc. When I was asked, I said I wanted to be a dad. So that was my first goal.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as I got older, I saw that there were two ways to be a dad. You could be a dad with a partner, or you could be a dad without a partner. And given my parental circumstances, I thought it would be better, wiser to have a partner. So then my second goal was established somewhere in my early 20s that to be a loving, supporting spouse.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, I was said that I would marry someone, and that's who I would have a child with.
I love it. So you figured that out before you met your wife?
Yes.
Okay. How'd you meet your wife?
So first off, this is my second marriage, even though I'm young. So the first person I met them through just childhood friends at that time period, and I thought they were going to be it. What I did not know was that you can choose someone to be with and try to make it work, or you can just be with someone that works. And at the time, I didn't know this. I was trying to be with someone and it didn't work, but I was trying to make it work. And I set crazy goals for myself. Like, my parents have been married at least 3 times, and I didn't want to do that, and I had a lot of resentment, and I wanted to only marry once. So I put a lot of expectations on myself and really tried to force this relationship to work until
The first one.
the first one,
Okay.
until it just did not work.
All right.
And it was very unhealthy. My current wife, met her through this work. When I moved out here to Kentucky in 2012, I met her in 2014. And, I didn't necessarily like her at first. It wasn't a love at first sight type of thing. But over time, as we got to know each other, we just clicked. I mean, being with her has been literally the easiest thing I've ever had to do.
Wow.
There is virtually no resistance. We've had 2 instances very early, like the first year and a half of our relationship, where we were still kind of figuring some things out. And I come from a little bit of a more aggressive background than she is. She's from Sweden, and she's an absolute sweetheart. And so there was some just getting used to different styles. But we quickly learned that although we have different styles or different approaches, we still end up at the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And the level of compatibility, I've never seen it. It exists, obviously, that it is out there, but it just seems so rare. And but yeah, it is by far the easiest thing, the easiest relationship, the easiest person, the easiest partner, the easiest everything. It's the easiest part of my life is loving her, being a husband with her.
Well, I can already feel that if I put this out or when I put this out, people are going to say something about that, or going to feel some type of way about this being easy. Because a lot of people say relationships are work and marriage is work. So where does that play in this whole easy picture that you're painting for everyone right now?
First of all, I hear this a lot. I'm part of different men's groups, and we have these kind of conversations. And I sit back and listen, and a lot of times I'm sort of out of the picture because I'm just sitting here listening. I'm just like, yeah, I can't relate to any of that stuff that you're talking about. I could at one point, I used to, but now I'm like, this is so foreign to me. And I'm a person that likes to share and give advice and things like that. But, sometimes, like you mentioned, there's some resistance because I do have it easy. But I think, and I analyze this a lot, and I think what makes it easy for me is I found someone who I'm through and through compatible with.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of us get in relationships from a good enough standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say that they're good enough. We don't settle per se. We think we found the diamond,
Mm-hmm.
but we overlook some of the things that are obvious signs of incompatibility.
Mm-hmm.
And the more incompatibility you have, the more work is going to be required.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, I don't necessarily believe in like zodiacs and stuff, but when I used to read that kind of stuff to kind of see if I had someone I was compatible with. By the way, it's completely rigged. You know, if you're earth sign, you're only supposed to be with an earth sign, maybe a water sign. Like, that's ridiculous.
Ladies, calm down. He didn't mean that.
My wife is Aries, and I'm Virgo, right?
And that means?
It means that we're supposed to have challenges.
Oh, okay. And it's not true.
We don't have
You
challenges.
don't have challenges.
Yeah,
I'm skeptical, man.
I know.
I'm not sold yet.
Well, I think it boils down to compatibility. If our lives are like a journey, a series of roads that we take, and we take those by decisions, we're not going to always make the same decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us will end up in different places and get different results and have a totally different worldview as a result of that, right? We build on those journeys. But in her and I's case, we make different decisions in life and still end up at the same place.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we come together with, how did you get here? Oh, I got here because of this is my view. Interesting. I got here because this is my view. Now we have something to share. Now we have something to build on. Now I'm learning from her worldview and she's learning from mine. There's no competition.
Mm-hmm.
There's no your way versus my way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of relationships, it ends up as a my way versus your way.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to find a way to be compatible, to make compromises. And that's where the work comes in. And I think that's fine. I mean, we all, there's hundreds of millions of people in America, but most of us kind of live in the same places and deal with the same people. And so it may be more difficult than ever to find that kind of level of compatibility.
Mm-hmm.
My wife is from Sweden. I'm from Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in 5 states. It took 5 states and countless cities and counties to find her. Like, the odds were against us, but at the same time, they were kind of in our favor because we moved around and we found each other in unlikely places. And we happened to be 2 types of personalities who were open enough to find each other and realize that we were compatible and that this would be easy.
Well,
But I can empathize that it's difficult because I did have a difficult relationship.
I have all kinds of questions about that. I don't know if we have enough time for that, but we might go into it if you're open, because I realize that could be a touchy subject. So it's easy, but perhaps you're a good leader. And just in the context of masculine-feminine dynamics, how much do you feel your leadership allows your woman to open up and be feminine around you? Or is it just too easy? You just be yourself.
Admittedly, I have not thought about it from that perspective. She is a ball of feminine energy, and I could be pretty masculine, demanding, I guess is the word. But she also has some masculine energy, but it's just in a way that doesn't conflict with mine. And I would say that because one of the things about, I guess we can all say this as being men, is I don't think any man on the planet wants to feel like they're not a man. Now, that may be everyone has a different definition for what that may look like for them. I was raised in an environment, my grandmother, I credit her for raising me. And she comes from a traditional background. A man is a provider and a protector. and she raised me on that, and she would have me do things like lock the doors and secure the house, and make sure that the fridge is stocked, just stuff that she would just have me do, little rituals, and they still stick today. I lock all the doors in the house. I make sure all the blinds are closed. I secure the house. I do all these things, and I believe in my heart that this is what a man does. Mm-hmm. But I can understand there's some men out there who don't believe that. Mm-hmm. I do provide. I don't force her to not contribute. I don't say, well, you're the woman, so you have to do these things. We don't have those types of expectations in our household. But I do live this sort of belief on that traditional values, and she is receptive to them. And I think that helps. Again, part of the compatibility, because I was with someone prior who was not as accepting to those ideals, who gave me lots of resistance and probably the things that a lot of men deal with today.
I can already see that I want to talk to you for like an hour, but for the sake of this, I'll probably just ask 2 or 3 more questions.
That's fine.
What's a challenging question that you asked yourself? Did you ever doubt that this was the right move to marry? Or was it, this is so easy? If I'm on the fence, if I'm a guy out there, I'm thinking about popping the question. What question could I ask myself to make sure it's the right decision?
Even though loving her is so easy, and I always say, like, some of the issues I see with relationships is that one spouse does not let the other spouse love them in the best way that they can love them. Even though that it's so easy to love her, it was not it helped when deciding to marry, but the marriage decision was solely on myself. It had nothing really to do with her. She was the one I wanted to marry when I decided to, but the decision wasn't from her. It wasn't because I was trying to appease her or because I'm trying to fulfill some external expectation. That was probably my mistake on the first time. I decided to marry when I felt that I was in a place to accept full responsibility for what that meant. Good, bad, indifferent. When I was at a place where if she decided to, I don't know, screw the guy at the office and we had a split, as heartbreaking as that would be, that I would be okay with giving her half my assets.
Wow.
When I felt comfortable and secure in the goals that I set for myself and excuse me, and the place I wanted to be, the kind of person I wanted to be, when I felt secure that I could take care of her and our 2 kids, we have 2 kids now. When I felt like I could take care of them, that I would be secure and I would fulfill what it meant for myself to be a man, I was ready to marry. And honestly, could have married anybody, but I wanted it to be her. And it was just, you can say it's happenstance that I'm a slow burner. It took me a while to get there from my own standards. But when I got there, she was there. She was there during the journey of me trying to figure this stuff out. And she was there when I said, okay, I'm ready. And, one thing about her, she never pressed me. And I think that it helped. It helped me to have the time and the experiences to figure this out and to get to the place where I was able to do it. And, in a way, she invested in me, and now she's getting a return on her investment for life. Because she waited.
Well, Jimmy, thanks for coming by, man.
My pleasure. I'm happy to do it again if you want.
Yeah, man. We need to do a longer form. Thanks.